minutes after that cute little puppy in the window may have been bred in a puppy mill. The mills mass-produce dogs for pet stores, raising their animals in sometimes horribly unhealthy and inhumane conditions. Tomorrow, a bipartisan congressional group will ask the Secretary of Agriculture to improve and enforce standards of care for the dogs. Joining us this morning is Rachel Lamb, Director of Companion Animal Care for the Humane Society of the United States, a national animal protection organization. Also Amanda Green, along with her little dog Shelby, whose medical problems have been traced back to a puppy mill. Thank you for coming. Rachel, you've gotten some of the real puppy mills. What do you see?
Well, it's shocking, Joan. I saw rows and rows of cages, dogs elevated on wire cages with feces built up underneath. These dogs were starving for attention. Many of them had matted fur. They obviously wanted attention. They were deprived of all kind of companionship. They were not being treated as pets. That's what struck me the most. And the females in these mills are never going to leave the facilities. They're bred over and over again and treated nothing more than breeding machines.
And breeded, I hear, every cycle so that they become dehydrated and exhausted.
That's right. Starting when they're puppies, 6 months old, and bred every heat cycle.
Well, in terms of improving these living conditions, what needs to be done to stop this?
Well, we need to approach the problem from two facets. First of all, we need to improve and strengthen the regulations. As long as these facilities exist, the conditions for these dogs need to be improved. We also need to get the word out to consumers that they shouldn't buy dogs from pet stores.
But rather from breeders?
Well, what's even better is adopting from the local animal shelter. There are millions of animals in this country who need homes.
Let me ask you, federal regulations are supposed to be enforced, I guess, by what, the United States Department of Agriculture. I mean, why aren't they? What's gone on here that this has happened?
Well, unfortunately, these dogs are raised as a cash crop. They're seen as nothing more as an agricultural industry. And so these dogs have been put on the back burner. And the government needs to know that Americans who are dog lovers care so deeply about the treatment of these animals that it's a priority to give these animals the care that they deserve. And that's what this effort is about.
Amanda, you fell in love with little Shelby. There, saw little Shelby at a pet store, right?
Right.
And then what happened?
Well, we bought her about 1.5 years ago for Christmas. And
she was a little puppy?
Just a little puppy. She fit in the palm of my hand. And about 3 months into it, she had a terrible seizure, and we took her into the doctor, and she ran through multiple tests, a CAT scan, an EKG, and blood work. They determined that she had a liver problem and told us to take her to New York. She underwent 2 operations in New York, where they determined that the liver problem was essentially inoperable. From that, we had 2 choices, a liver transplant or a prescription diet for the rest of her life. We chose the prescription diet, so that's what she's been on. And
her prognosis?
She hasn't had any seizures, but her blood toxicity level is still at a very high range.
So she's still in danger.
Right.
I mean, this is the first part of the problem is the conditions, and then the second part of the problem are the people who buy these animals, and then boom, you know, a couple months later the problems come out. How much have you spent on this?
In medical bills, it's about $3,000.
$3,000. How much did you spend on the puppy to begin with?
About $850.
$850. Yeah. Are the little puppies that people see in pet stores usually in good condition, or are they inherently, you know, fraught with problems like this?
Well, Amanda's problems are not unusual. The Humane Society of the United States is contacted every year by many, many individuals who suffer the same kind of things that Amanda has gone through.
Why do they seem to have medical problems like that?
Well, they're riddled with not only medical problems, but oftentimes behavioral problems, congenital defects, because in these puppy mills, the animals are bred so frequently and in conditions that are so deplorable.
So inbreeding is part of the problem?
Exactly, inbreeding. And also, again, the puppies are ripped away from their mothers when they're 6 to 8 weeks old. They're not socialized, they're not given proper veterinary care, because the more money that's put into the dogs, the less money the operators are going to make.
But this is a tough one, because people still want the little puppies, they still go to the pet store, they still buy them, and therefore there's the need, and therefore there's the supplies. What do they do? What do they do to try to break this?
Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Animal shelters have millions of puppies, kittens, dogs, cats available for adoption, and again, you don't have to raise dogs in these conditions. Animals are our best friends, and they should be treated more than just a cash crop.
But if somebody's sitting at home and they want to help this, who should they write to? Who should they call? What should they do?
Well, immediately they should contact their senator or their representative, because our congressional bipartisan effort, which is headed up by Senator Rick Santorum of Pennsylvania and Congressman Glenn Poshard of Illinois, is trying to make a difference on behalf of these dogs. So it's very important that Congress hears today from individuals to sign on to the letter going to Secretary of Agriculture Glickman to make a difference for these dogs.
So write your congressman.
Exactly.
Your
Call today.
And we hope Shelby does fine.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's 43 minutes after. Coming up next, actress Michelle Pfeiffer reaching out to dangerous minds when Good Morning America continues here on ABC.
Which are the people who are saying, I will not carry myself down to die when I go